Welcome back to Stocks Update, your go-to destination for the latest stock market updates and in-depth financial insights. In today's video, we're diving into the recent market activity surrounding Super Micro Computer Inc., also known by its ticker SMCI on the Nasdaq. The company has caught the attention of many investors recently after a noticeable bump in its share price. So, why exactly did SMCI stock climb 1.6% in a single trading day? Is it time to buy, hold, or sell? Stay tuned as we break it all down from analyst ratings to insider transactions and institutional investor behavior. Let's get started. On Tuesday, shares of Super Micro Computer experienced a 1.6% rise during market hours. At one point, the stock reached an intraday high of $34.59, while it eventually settled at around $33.65 per share by the end of the trading session. That's an increase from the previous closing price of $33.12, signaling a modest upward trend. What's especially notable is the trading volume. Just under 11.8 million shares were exchanged, which is a dramatic 84% drop from its usual daily volume of over 73 million shares. This lower trading volume could indicate cautious optimism, as fewer investors are actively buying or selling. It might also suggest that institutional investors are waiting for further confirmation before making bigger moves. Now, let's talk about what the analysts are saying, because that always has a major impact on market sentiment. SMCI has been the subject of multiple analyst reports in recent months, with views ranging from highly optimistic to downright skeptical. Here's a snapshot of some recent notable analyst activity. Northland Capital Markets upgraded their stance on SMCI to a strong buy as of December 20th, suggesting high expectations for the company's future performance. Goldman Sachs, on the other hand, took a more cautious tone. On March 24th, the investment firm downgraded SMCI from neutral to sell, adjusting their target price down from $40 to $32. That's a pretty stark shift, and it clearly reflects a bearish outlook. Wedbush Securities maintained a hold rating, indicating that while they don't expect massive gains in the short term, they're also not expecting a crash. CFRA, however, seems bullish. They moved their rating from hold to buy and set a price objective of $48 on February 11th. Lastly, Northland Securities, which seems to be the most optimistic among them, set a price target of $70 per share on March 6th. As of the latest data from MarketBeat, analyst consensus gives the stock an overall rating of hold, with an average target price of $53. To sum it up, analyst opinions are mixed. While some see big potential upside, others are skeptical of sustained growth. This divergence is often where the real opportunities and risks lie for retail investors. Let's take a moment to understand the fundamental health of Super Micro Computer. Market capitalization, around $19.85 billion. Price to earnings PE ratio, 16.79. which suggests a fair valuation compared to tech peers. Beta, 1.22, meaning it's slightly more volatile than the market. Debt-to-equity ratio, a relatively low 0.32, showing the company doesn't rely heavily on borrowing. Quick ratio, 1.93. Current ratio, 3.77. These liquidity ratios imply that SMCI is in a solid position to cover its short-term liabilities and has a strong balance sheet. Also worth noting, the 50-day moving average is around $40.19, and the 200-day moving average stands at $36.76. This means the current price is below both key moving averages, which may indicate a short-term bearish trend unless a reversal happens. What company insiders are doing with their shares often gives us clues about their confidence in the company's future. On February 28, Director Robert L. Blair sold 19,460 shares at an average price of $42.58, amounting to a total value of over $828K. Just 2 days earlier, on February 26, Senior Vice President George Kao sold 71,720 shares at an average price of $50.48, earning roughly $3.62 million. Post-sale, Kao still held 19,449 shares, valued at approximately $981,785, indicating a 78.67% decrease in his ownership. These moves could be profit-taking based on prior gains or signals that insiders believe the stock may be near a short-term peak. Either way, it's something to watch closely. In total, over the last 90 days, company insiders have sold 137,473 shares, totaling $6.77 million in value. Currently, insiders collectively own around 17.6% of the company's shares, a sizable chunk that still aligns their interest with those of shareholders. Now let's talk about the big money hedge funds and institutional investors. These players often do extensive research and have large amounts of capital at stake, so tracking their behavior can be very informative. Recently, several institutional investors made moves with SMCI. Salem Investment Counselors, Inc. took a new position during Q4, suggesting fresh interest. Trust Company of Vermont increased its holdings by 900%, now owning 1K shares. Parkside Financial Bank and Trust also joined the party with a 2,890.9% increase, bringing their total to 987 shares. Larson Financial Group LLC similarly boosted its stake by 902%, now holding 992 shares. Toth Financial Advisory Corp. entered with a brand new position. Combined, institutional investors and hedge funds currently control about 84.06% of Supermicro Computer's stock. That level of ownership usually reflects strong belief in the company's long-term value. So, where does SMCI go from here? The stock has shown a slight upward movement recently, even as trading volume declined significantly. Analysts are divided, with ratings ranging from sell to strong buy. Insiders have offloaded a large number of shares, recently possibly taking profits after a run-up. Meanwhile, institutional investors are clearly interested, with several entering or expanding positions. What this all tells us is that SMCI is in a transition zone. It's neither at the bottom nor necessarily at the peak. The fundamentals are solid, institutional interest is high, and while insider selling might concern some, it could also just be routine. That wraps up our in-depth breakdown of Supermicro Computer Inc. and its recent stock performance. Whether you're considering investing, already holding, or just watching from the sidelines, this is definitely a stock to keep on your radar. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you in-depth market analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.